that education is not the work of one person. It's not just for government alone, it's for everybody, especially in a country with a population as large as ours. So Ascend Education, we're like an intervention organization. And our aim is not just to improve the quality, but also the quantity. When I say quantity, everybody left behind. With the return of the mission schools, many of the mission schools started charging fees that even their members couldn't afford. So they became like the private schools. That didn't solve the problem for people, lower down the ladder.
We're very much interested in the education sector.
In the past 4 years, we've been committed to raising standards in schools and organizations that we partner with in Lagos, Ogun, and Ekiti states. We have been able to do this through action researches, organizing summer schools, offering consulting services, and teacher training sessions to these schools. We have also developed engaging and relevant resources that the students can relate with. We thank you for your continued support.
So our aim basically is literacy, to get people to read, to write, and to reason logically. So reading, writing, and some form of logic, verbal reasoning, that's the aim of Ascend Education. And that's why our programs are all around maybe communities where they don't have good schools, or state schools where the quality is not as, it should be.
Ascend Education Foundation has opened up several opportunities for me to contribute to society in Nigeria. We are more active in Lagos State, but we also have representations all over Nigeria. And in future, we hope to have centers everywhere in Nigeria and also in West Africa. And we are going to go global also by the grace of God.
Like I said, the program that we ran at the church, I see students literally almost every Sunday. And I've seen a drastic change in their lives from, greeting me and communicating with me. We stand and we talk, how are you, how's your family? Things that they would never have done before. Normally they would have spoken to me in Yoruba. Not that there's anything wrong with speaking Yoruba, but I have seen a drastic change in their lives since they joined the program.
I mean, because there's so much information out there on the internet, if you can't read and write, how do you access the information that's out there, first of all? So that's a massive impact. Also, it affects your thinking. It opens up vistas that would ordinarily not be possible. It plays a very, very vital role in anyone's life.
I mean, oftentimes I'll walk into the salon to have my hair done, and I'll bring in my products, or even when I don't bring in my products, and the hairdresser will say, "Auntie, what do you want to do?" And I'm thinking, you're the hairdresser, or you bring your products and they're asking you how to use it because they cannot read the instructions on the packaging. So that's why the collaboration with an organization like International Women's Society, that's where it comes in. When they're doing their skills acquisition, we come in to do literacy classes for the students there. So that's what we're about. And because of our vision, our programs are very flexible. We're not out to establish a school where people coming from 8 to 4. No, the hours are flexible. Some of our programs are run in the morning, some in the evenings, some once a week, some more than once a week. The idea is for any and everybody who still wants to be educated, we will be available. We'll run programs to help them.
Yes, there is, there's an opportunity out there for everybody to learn. There's an opportunity out there for everybody to be a better person. And that was one of the things that, this curriculum that we had for this adult education involved. It was to ensure people that they can learn and they can better themselves.
Well, I've experienced a tremendous change in the life of the students, being that the program has impacted the students in a lot way, and it has made them to achieve a lot during their learning. Particularly before the beginning of the program, they are having challenges with studying and reading, but during the program, we are able to go into details to know the reason why they're having difficulties in their challenge.
And the aim of our literacy class was to equip our students with literacy skills that they could use in everyday life. For example, how to write a letter of complaint, how to write an informal letter to a friend, how to converse using useful connectors like firstly, secondly, in addition, in conclusion. So we also taught them writing, introduction, body, conclusion.
The IWS Skills Acquisition Center is 27 years this year, and the IWS itself, the International Women's Society, is 67. The current chairperson of the IWS Skills Acquisition Center is Chief Dr. Mrs. Victoria Akpan. She's been at the forefront when the Ascend Education Foundation approached us, and then we started these collaborations 2022, I think February, March, thereabout, and it's been a wonderful journey since then. Currently IWS is 67, and the current president is Dame Olabisi Alokolaro. I need to mention, because these two are actually also volunteering, and they're doing amazing work, giving us the platform to impact lives as much as possible. So the Ascend Education Foundation brought in a very unique methodology to adult literacy training. The IWS Skills Center is a skills acquisition or vocational training center where we train students in catering and events management, sewing and fashion design, beauty and hairdressing services, computer-related courses, and adult literacy course. So with the collaborations with Ascend Education Foundation, we were able to form a unique blend between what we teach and their own accelerated method of teaching, which has really impacted the life of our students.
The organization that came during the holiday, they were very wonderful people. They came, the children, they gained a lot, and even me, I learned a lot from what they did, and it's a very good thing that anybody who started it is doing.
Jewels Foundation is a beneficiary of Ascend Education Foundation's commitment to improve the quality and standard of education in Nigeria. In April 2023, Jewels Foundation opened its first learning center in Ijere-Ekiti, Nigeria, to provide free literacy intervention and free digital literacy to young students in Nigeria. This is to address the problem of poor literacy and almost unavailability of digital skills in that community. We got a complete consultancy package: communication skills, literacy, training, design, training, methodology, mention it, all free of charge.
When we did a recent analysis on the test results, and I saw little points going up, I saw some small improvement. Doesn't mean that they've reached pass mark, but I'm seeing some incremental. In fact, we were discussing that today, weren't we? In your group, you had seen some, and you said, okay, so you don't get too down and depressed. There is some light in that they are. And you can talk to them yourselves as well, you know, as to what they've learned or how they've benefited. But I've seen from the independent tests we do that there is, they're getting better, but it's slow. It's and my sister will explain some of the challenges why it's slow. There are multiple complex reasons for that.
Bangaro Nursery and Primary is a subsidiary. We were part of the Ascend Educational Foundation initiative for summer in 2024, and we were very privileged to have them. The facilities they brought in, the people that came around, a huge source of encouragement, and motivation to both the school and pupils alike. The teachers were all, they saw a need to improve, and the growth pattern of the children from these stages upwards looks brighter, and the future looks good.
Also, we try to encourage them to know how to spell. We explain to them that knowing how to spell is like learning mathematics. Sometimes you need to just memorize the spelling in order to succeed, because we noticed that their spelling was quite weak.
And I'm the founder and CEO of Let It Shine Academy, which is a free secondary school that provides free and quality education to children that are marginalized. For the past, I think, 3.5 years, we've had the privilege to partner with Ascend Foundation. And I always say that at this point, Ascend is family. And I think the depth of our partnership goes to the point that, Mrs. Ye, Mrs. Silver, Mrs. Yetunde Fawehimi have become more than just mentors, but family and aunts to me. And they actually also are on the board of Let It Shine Academy, so the secondary school. I think that speaks to the depth of this relationship that we've built over the past few years.
And students, oh, wonderful. They wouldn't want to miss any of these classes. They are really committed to coming to classes because they know that they're not just learning how to read and write, but they're also gaining experiences.
If you can't read, it's very debilitating, right? Imagine you're a woman now, like this lady with her baby. The doctor gives you some medicine. How on earth are you going to read that medicine? How on earth are you going to even make an informed choice as to whether you actually want to take this medicine yourself or even administer that medicine to your baby? If I give someone, even employment, if I give my staff, okay, shopping list, go to the markets. And I've had this, I'm talking about real life experience. This is shopping, I can't give her a shopping list. Can't. But she's got a photographic memory. So she's got other skills. So if I say I need this, she gets it. But it's not good enough. She's not married yet. I'm just thinking about the future. How will she impact her own children? Because that's a cycle, that poverty cycle, that illiteracy is a cycle. And you can see very clearly how it's a cycle. So you have to allow some of them to come out of that cycle in order to try and impact even the wider family. Unfortunately, even one of their kids passed away. I don't have a clue why one of them passed away, but it was very upsetting. I don't know why it was. Probably lack of education, lack of knowledge, I don't know, aside from the lack of money. So for me, it's very debilitating, and it's actually a right. Everyone should know how to read and write. Yeah.
I can go on and on and on. We've got testimonials from some of our students who have gone through this training, coupled with the sort of training they get from us as well. It's a unique combination of specialized training from professionals who have found the key on how to get it done, and with our own training too from our teachers. It's a wonderful combination.
So I had to impress upon them that these skills will enable you to function better in your everyday life, no matter whether you want to go to university or not, just in your everyday life, even as a normal businessman or businesswoman. And finally, they got it. Some of them could still do better, but we wonder, my sister and I, whether it's because some of them have to help their parents in selling or buying, like earning money to live. So we wonder whether that takes time out from actually learning their homework. Sometimes maybe the housework might be a bit much. We're not sure.
Partnering with Ascend has been monumental to the growth and progress of the lives that God has put under our care. For example, just like feeding is a basic necessity, so is literacy a basic necessity. So we gather these children and we try to meet those basic needs first, feed them, do spa day and all of that. However, the introduction of literacy was like light coming into their world.
Well, Ascend has been working with us for over 3 years now, and in no small measure have we seen changes in the children. We've seen enormous improvements both in handwriting, in spelling, in vocabulary.
I've observed some improvements, majorly concerning the slow learners we have in the class. Most of them are now getting to average stage of learning. So it's a lot of improvements that I found out after the summer lesson.
It has helped students from different backgrounds to be able to catch up with their peer groups.
Since the summer program, I've noticed that most of them are coordinated, more coordinated than before. And the use of charts and other pictogram activities is valuable. Before, once we ask them questions, they don't really give us the correct answer. But after the summer lesson, the questions are answered in the modest and simplest way from the pupils.
Before the program, the students are actually struggling with their studies and their learning. And after the program, we have realized that most of the students that started the programs are now being able to read fluently in the classroom. So from this, I could see that it has changed or made a possible impact in the life of the students.
One thing I left out was we also taught them how to conduct themselves at an interview. How would you sell yourself at a job interview? That was one of the things we did as well. Role playing, how to, what good points do you have? Why should I hire you? What are the good qualities about you, and things like that. Also, as my sister mentioned, we try and give them some biscuits and water to overcome any hunger issues. And on the Tuesday, they have rice and beans or rice and stew provided by Ascend Education Foundation, APAPA.
In 6 months, every member of staff had been trained by Ascend, with the literacy teachers being given subject matter training in their own field. As at December 2023, we had a total of 353 children registered in the library of Jewels Foundation receiving literacy intervention. The staff were not only empowered to teach weekly literacy lessons, they were empowered to also carry out literacy activities that helped the children, spelling bee competitions, essay competitions, reading competitions where each child, each contestant was to summarize a book per day to compete in the contest. And they contested keenly. We had hundreds of children competing and their literacy skills improving. To date, we have trained up to 188 children with digital skills, and the number of children enrolled in the library continues to increase, with us having to restrict membership. We couldn't have achieved this without Ascend. This increase in achievement couldn't have been possible if Ascend had not come in to do the things that they did. And what's more, a follow-up review was done. Ascend has assured us of continuing education for the literacy teachers. These teachers also work as librarians in the library, and we really can't say what we would have done otherwise. On behalf of Jewels Education Foundation, I thank God for Ascend Education, and I thank every member of Ascend.
I remember when I was first introduced to Ascend, it was because there was a particular problem that I had after running the secondary school for a year. And that problem was a lot of children were coming to me to join the secondary school, obviously for free, because they didn't have access to private or public education, and realizing that their backgrounds, their foundations weren't right. So a lot of them, because of the circumstances that they come with and their backgrounds, didn't have access to even quality primary school. So a lot of them coming to secondary school level couldn't read or write or spell.
Actually, the phonics that they taught them, I think they improved with the phonics.
So, and I really want to thank Ascend. I want to thank all the volunteers that came, because they took it like a personal mission. And I think that beyond the literacy, it was the warmth that they created in that environment that encouraged the children to keep coming. Because you don't want to imagine what it is to teach children who have been on the street for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, who've never been in school. That's a daunting task, I must say.
I'm a secondary school, and there was only so much that I could do at that point, and it was like walking alone. And I remember at that point I was now introduced to Ascend Foundation, and very quickly Ascend Foundation kind of joined me in this journey. And then beyond, the things that the school was doing, we started a literacy program during summer, and the point of this summer school was that we were able to train these kids and just help them with these background issues that they were having before school started in September. So every summer now for almost 3 years, in the month of August, Ascend Foundation pretty much takes over Lisa.
It was amazing to see children who had never been in school before begin to learn the letter sounds and start to read. In fact, one particular child used the letter sounds to spell his friend's name that is a Yoruba name. It was amazing. It was very impressive.
I felt many things, because when I was at home, I was reading. So when I get to the street, I wasn't able to read. But when I heard about the lesson, they started teaching us. I began to come back again, began to spell some words, began to read and write.
Because it helped me in my studies. And also it also helped me in how to coordinate with people.
My experience during the summer school was so wonderful, and it had contributed positively to the academic work.
Ascend Educational Foundation has helped me a lot during summer school, most especially in my English language. It helped me differentiate between sounds. It definitely knows how to pronounce sounds and how to identify them. Like, one of the major things it taught me is that how to dictate sounds, consonants and vowel sounds. It also helped me in doing a lot of things, like in reading, writing, and stuff like that.
They teach us how to read, they teach us how to pronounce sounds, and they teach us how to know our diagrams and alphabets also.
Before I was in 05, but throughout that lesson, as I came here, they promoted me to J2, because the lesson they have taught me was the question they asked me in the lesson was inside the exam they gave me.
My experience was so good that even though my father did not want me to come, I myself would definitely come and take permission. I will first take permission from my parents, then I will come, because it was a great lesson and taught me a lot of things I never knew.
The Ascend Foundation, it teaches sounds, everything. It teaches how to write in our handwriting and everything. So I learned how to read properly and how to use my punctuation marks.
Like, it changed my life. Like now, I can stay among my friends. When they speak English, I can hear them, but I can speak as I know it, and I can write as I know I can read.
My experience was fantastic, and the teacher was friendly. They taught us, well, if we are not correct, they used to correct us.
And I came here to learn. I have not gone to school before, but as I came here, I know how to read. But it's very important to me to learn.
It made me feel happy, and I gained how to spell, because since I was in the street, I don't know how to spell.
It has helped me so greatly that some of the questions my teacher has been giving us, it was only few of the students, and I was among one of the students who were answering the questions.
Especially in my English now. Since when I've been taught how to identify consonants and my English levels and grades have improved. I usually have C in English, but now I have B and A's in English.
Because it makes me happy because I can now read and spell some words. So the lesson, it makes me feel happy because I can read and spell and do other things. I can now talk to my fellow students.
I love, like now they can send me to the market. Anything I want to buy, I just sit down, I calculate everything, and I'm able now to speak to people. Before I was very shy because I can't express myself.
It moved me in many ways. Like it helped me to in any way I went to. I was able to read. When I was in I can't read.
You help me because if I see book, I can read it. But not where say, but I can read it. Before I can't study anything, but now I can read it.
It has helped me in my handwriting.
Before I am disqualified from school, I am in primary 3. But when I start to attend the lesson, I discovered that I start to improve more and more. It's one of my friends that took me there. And when I reached there, I was very happy that I start to pick up.
I've been attending this program since the day they started the program. And I achieved so much in this program, like how to write my letter well, how to use my punctuation mark, how to write an address, where to use my linking words. The first time I came there, I saw people like mothers, grandmothers that over there, and I see how they are spending their time just to let us achieve something. And I believe that if I keep coming, I will achieve something here.
The first time when I came to the school, I was not really doing well. When I came up, the teacher was looking at me.
Some things that I forgot when I am at home, I remember that I get my brain refreshed back. So when I even reach here back, I see that my improvement is changed.
They helped me by spelling and dictating.
That improved me well in writing and reading.
The best thing that I gained was how to read.
The lesson made me feel happy because I gained a lot from it, because before I don't know how to write or spell difficult words. So the lesson made me to learn how to spell and write, and also make my English correct.
Last time when we were writing exam, they bring out and they ask us to write an formal and informal letter. If it was before, I cannot write the address of formal letter correct and informal letter correct. But since I am coming to this lesson, I've been able to write it proper.
My schoolwork is very neat and my reading is very good. Before, my handwriting is just like Jagos handwriting, but now my handwriting is really fine and good.
Like my English, the way I speak, it improves it, the way I speak and the way I write.
It has improved my ability to read and write a lot, because there is no way now that you can bring essays to me that I won't be able to read or read and comprehend it. I can jot anything on essay down. I can read any comprehension passages, read letters that have been written to management.
For example, I can't spell much before, but now I am improving the spelling and how to write.
My name, how to spell my name, how to spell my dad's name, and girl, boy, pop, all I sabi how to spell it.
Before I cannot write a sentence well. Now I can write a sentence and I know where we should put a punctuation mark, and I learn informal letter and formal letter.
I improved in my grammar aspect and my writing skills.
We are the first students when they came in. I benefit a lot. For now, I know how to use my present tense and past tense. Like when I see something on the board, I can be able to read and write.
So I learned how to read and write Then I've attended summer coaching that helped me a lot. Then my reading and writing.
Then when I was at home, I can't read, I can't speak well. But during the lesson time, when I came from the lesson, when I came from the lesson, so I can read, I can try, I'm working through perfection, so I can try to read, try how to speak English.
I had problems with bad handwriting, couldn't read fast, but now I have fine handwriting, is neat, and I can read fluently.
My feeling about learning now is glorious because Ascent Foundation helped me in reading a lot. Because before I was shy to read in front of crowds, so they helped me read to identify the errors in my spelling and in my reading.
Because before I cannot speak good English, but now I can speak good English since I came here.
Well, I used to, like in my children's side, maybe when they are saying something, I can say, no, my teacher said it's like this. I know it now because normally say, Mommy, it's not like that. But now they say, now you learn how to speak now. You'll be giving us basic grammar.
After the lesson, I used to carry my book and started to practice to know more.
It improves my confidence because you are always, anytime they are teaching us and they see that you are shy, that you are feeling nervous, they send you at front of the class, then they make you courageous to face the whole class, to read for them.
It has helped my schoolwork very good and it made me build more confidence. The teaching has made me confident, it has made me bold.
Because I learned formal letter and it helped me in school.
No. Teaching method I've learned from the summer camp. One is the use of charts. Two, the way you explain to the pupils, playway method, and project method, then grouping method also. So these are the methods I learned from them, from the facilitators that came to take the pupils during the summer lesson.
I find it rewarding when I see progress being made, when I see that a student is really making efforts. And yesterday I actually interviewed them to ask them what they felt they had learned, and I was very pleased with some of the replies that I got. Some of them will talk to you today, and I'm sure they will be telling you different things about what they've learned.
In October 2023, Ascend Education Foundation collaborated with Ishobi Development Association. This is an association based in Ilisho, Remo, Ogun State. Ascend Education Foundation designed a program whereby we trained over 80 teachers on how to use phonics to teach literacy. The program was a huge success and we received positive feedback.
As a teacher and as an educator, the summer school has impacted me through the Ascend Foundation because it also brings an enlightenment to students to think deep and to think outside the box in terms of how to impart knowledge and how to ensure that the students are adequately taught in their classrooms.
So fast forward to last year, I came to England and I knew I was going to be in England for a while, so I just wanted to do something to hone my skills and also something to probably turn my passion into a profession. So I went to University of Reading, and whilst going through the programs they had in the postgraduate school, I saw this program for early years education. So I applied for that program. I was called for an interview. At the interview, some of the things they asked at the interview, because there was an oral one and a written one, was why education, why children's education. And most of the things I wrote in the essay was basically the things I saw at Ascend, how I saw how just spending time with children, just 6 weeks of lectures the impact and the difference it made in the children. The following year when we went to LISEC, the children I saw the previous year that were probably semi-literate or couldn't read very well in public, I saw how the difference in they were now reading very well, they were fluent readers, and they were even eager to come forward to read in class. Those are kind of things I just wrote in my essay. And we also had like the oral interview as well. Anyway, I got admitted, and when my admission letter came out, I also found out when I got the CAS statement to go and do my visas, that actually all the fees were fully paid. And I was like, wow, God, is this how you work?
Personally, as a teacher, I've been impacted in many ways. I've also been able to build my vocabulary and confidence in teaching.
Okay, well, I understand now that it's not everything that you do for money. Sometimes you just have to give of yourself, and there's joy in giving of yourself, actually, of your expertise. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be able to serve these people in my community, and I'm blessed, and we're all blessed, even if it's just 5 that make it through, you know?
Yeah, personally, I've learned that we don't teach children in the same way. We sometimes have to bring some aside and teach them according to their learning abilities. Ascend has taught me that.
Yeah, the use of chat majorly. I learned that from the summer school program. Mostly we don't always use chat to teach them. And method of teaching also. So I learned new method of teaching the pupils, most especially some topics in mathematics. And it has been helping me a lot.
I've been impacted with the handwriting. They taught us how to write properly with the handwriting, to make sure write on the line, to write the letters very well.
It changed my perspective. All it tells me is that there are other like-minded people, and there's a common recognition that there's a lot to be done, and these guys are selfless because no one is paying anybody for this. In fact, these guys up to recently thought that I was linked with governments and that I was somehow getting to, because no one was saying, oh, and they promised us this, they promised us that, and I was trying to understand where this was coming from. I said, I didn't realize that they thought that I was part of. I said, no, all this that you're getting, even the books and everything, is all been given, it's all volunteer. It's either me or it's the Ascend Foundation, but there is absolutely zero connection with any government, and there is zero money coming from anywhere, right? So I just have to make that clear, and that's why sometimes I'm slightly irritated, because I'm not, it's not as if someone gave me money and I'm giving some of it and not all of it, and no, nothing like that. So as I say, I'm grateful to the church for giving me the space. I'm not, because we even said, let's pay for cleaning. I said, no. Let's pay for something. No. Don't need to pay anything. So I was very happy about that. So there are lots of people that are trying to help in their own small way.
The immediate inspiration was my friend who I'm a member of the 8 o'clock prayer fellowship where Ascend was birthed. And when the call first came out, I didn't think that it was something I could do because I'm not a professional teacher. But one of my friends did volunteer, and then gradually said, you don't have to be a teacher, something that you can do, because we both had a passion for education and the current state of education in the country. So she encouraged me to do, and I did.
I noticed the level of illiteracy, especially with adults of age, between the age of 18 and above, so to say. So I was very much interested in seeing people that did not have that opportunity to go to school, being educated, especially, like I said, adults.
I have a passion for education, and I also have compassion for those who have missed out on education, both adults and children. These are the factors that have driven me to join Ascend Education Foundation.
The journey actually began before the establishment of Ascend. When I was still in paid employment, I was put on what was called a recruitment committee, whose goal was to set tests and interview potential
employees for the organization. And just sitting on that interview panel, I just realized how much the quality of education in Nigeria had gone down. From then on, it became a burden. Added to that is the fact that for most people my generation, we went to state or mission schools. And every term, when we get a bill, an invoice from the schools my children have gone to, I'm sort of like alarmed, because I always say Nigeria is the only country where you can't send your children to the schools that you've gone to. You will be doing a disservice to them because something happened in that sector and the quality just went down. The mission schools were taken away from the mission and private schools came in. But thank God, with the current democratic dispensation, Lagos State handed the school back to the missions.
For example, teaching the off-the-street boys has given me a lot of personal satisfaction and joy. If I didn't try or venture out, I would never know what I've missed out on.
The biggest challenge, I think, is the parents themselves. A lot of parents themselves are not even literate. So how do you explain to them the value of literacy? Because for them, they're getting by without literacy. They're doing what they need to do, life is going on for them. So why would you, and this child that we're talking about is helping them out in chores at home or going to off for them, and then you talk about you taking away that child for even a few hours in the day to come and learn how to read, to come and learn how to write and to do some arithmetic. So that has been a huge challenge, getting the children to come. The other challenge is finding suitable schools that are near those children to help them understand. So with Ascend, we've been very creative. We've not just limited ourselves to the four walls of classrooms. We've been extremely creative in that we actually take education sometimes to where the child is. So if it's a church premises that is available, we use the church. If it's a city hall, we use a town hall, we use the town hall. So we're always very creative and looking for better ways to manage the time and the space that we have with that child.
The challenge is to get the attention of the children and to understand how to communicate with them. Many of them don't speak English at all, and they don't understand. They have not been taught at all or been very badly taught. So when you have a group of maybe 7 or 8 boys or girls, you have to separate them, which is the difficulty, because I'm not a trained teacher. I came into this out of interest, but somehow we've sort of gotten a rhythm to it. So the main challenge, as I said earlier, is to get the level of understanding of the children and to make sure that you are not working ahead of them.
In our days, there was no difference between somebody who had gone to a state school and a mission school. It was the same. Everybody could read. English is still the lingua franca of this country. Everybody could speak well. So we're all about getting everyone to that level. Because even as an employer of labor, it's frustrating when you employ somebody who is a graduate, they can't read well, they can't write well. So our programs, that's why we have our summer schools, where we just run remedial classes for people who are already in school, but we just need to help them improve the quality. Then we have adult education for those who missed the boat. And then we have education for children whose parents, for some reason, are not sending them to school. Maybe for affordability, whatever the reason may be, we don't question the reason. We just want them educated. Then we also work with people who have acquired skills.
Oh yes, when people come into your classroom, especially adults, and they feel they cannot progress in learning. I remember we had a student once, and she just kept saying that she had never had an education, and it was due to the fact that she didn't think that she could learn or she could progress in life. And we were able to assure her that at the end of the class, she would become someone that can speak publicly and address people in English language. And at the end of the program, she was able to do so.
I usually teach people that can't read at all. So when they get the sounds and we realize that stringing sounds together can help them read, when they actually do, the look on their face, the light sort of goes up in their heads, that's very rewarding. And for me, there's a scene that for me there's also rewarding that I believe even though I'm not a teacher and I didn't train as a teacher, I feel that I missed my calling and I should have been a teacher. So it's kind of like I'm happy that I'm making up for lost time. I'm very much interested in children who are out of school. I'm always worried when I see a child not in school, and I know the value of education and what it does. I remember meeting somebody many years ago, a Malaysian who came to Nigeria, and while we were talking, he said, what is the prospect, what can give somebody an opportunity to have a better life in Nigeria? And I thought, I was confused about his question, and I said I didn't understand. And he said, okay, for example, he's from Malaysia, and the easiest thing for anybody to do, to get out of poverty is to go to school. That once you go to school, you're sorted. That question was an eye-opener for me, because I looked at it and I thought, there are people who can't even go to school, so what's the hope for them? So based on that, it got me interested in education, in children going to school. So I'm always worried when I don't see children going to school. And that, of course, led to my joining Ascend Education Foundation.
Actually, when we started, the problem was, how do we get the people? We had a lot of ideas that would need a lot of money to execute. And that's the reason why we're now coming to this fundraising. We didn't have the funds at the time. We couldn't even employ teachers. So those of us who are members, we decided to go and do training, and we did what they call the Johnny Phonics training. That's how to train the trainers course. So all our members went for that course, and we learned how to sort of like teach literacy to young, old, anybody, everybody. And so we were the first group of teachers. Now, I think we've employed 1 or 2, and we're hoping to employ more because the work is getting more.
Okay, so I'll give an example of a child who's not able to read. When they started with us, they couldn't even recognize any of the alphabet, not the A or B or C or D. And then coming to us, when they initially came, they're timid, they're kind of withdrawn. They don't have the confidence. When their mates are speaking, they can't speak, because they're also afraid that if they pick up a book and they have to read, they can't read. So the shame of it. But within a few weeks, because they can now recognize some of the alphabets, and because they can now read a little bit, you see them, it's almost like a flower that's been put in water. They bloom, and it's just beyond getting an education. They get confident, they get bold, they're emboldened, and I can just see that looking at this person, in another 2 years, this person will be a totally different person. So that is what I feel the role is. Community is very important. And to be honest, if the community had taken an active role in the past, when obviously the government kind of dropped the ball in terms of education, when it became overwhelming for the government, if the community had taken that role, we wouldn't be where we are today. So community is very important. If you have a community where literacy is welcome, where education is accepted, where everybody puts in everything to help a child get an education, it will be fantastic. Now, we can say that teachers are very good, and no doubt about it, but volunteering has been fantastic. Being a volunteer myself, I know that volunteers sometimes are not stable, but when you have a stable flow of volunteers, it can go a long way in bridging the gap where there are not adequate teachers, or the parents are not able to fill in. The volunteers can actually fill in, and you can find the child is able to get proper education even within that space.
With the program that we ran, with the Sunday school program, it was in a church community. And what we found out with that was that people in that community embraced each other, called each other to say, especially like I said, it was for adults, to tell them that there was an opportunity out there for them to better themselves.
We're working with street boys and gathering them and giving them literacy and numeracy skills. And aside from that, we would also have conversations with them about morals and the way of life, and they find themselves in this unplanned circumstance. And we help them and we talk to them. And we noticed that in the communities where those children lead, we started seeing the changes, We would get to traffic lights where those children are. Rather than them bang on the door to rob people, they would speak politely to people, They're still begging, yes, but they would speak politely. That's the effect that we've had on them. It's the effect of having ascend in their lives, because they find out that, we're going to have to come back again on the day we go to study, and we're going to meet these people. And they may be in traffic looking at us. So it's made a huge impact on their lives.
I would advise them to jump right in. Because like I said, I didn't start when the poll first went out because I thought I'm not a teacher, I won't fit in. But there's room for everyone. There's need for teachers, there's need for people that organize, there's need for all sorts of fundraisers. It's the whole gamut. So whatever it is that you do, there's a role for you in a sense.
I already said that, yes, people like myself, we don't have any educational, background, in the sense that we don't have any teaching skills. We've never gone for a teacher training program. One of the things that I will say for the fact is that if you want to come on board, Ascend Education will train you on how to teach, deliver their courses. I am a champion for adult education, and one of the programs one of the topics we had in the curriculum were things like table setting, table manners, telephone etiquettes, keeping appointments, the normal things that you would find yourself doing on a daily basis that we take for granted, chewing gum, not that there's anything wrong with chewing gum, but I'm sure you know what I mean by that, communicating with your fellow human beings in public, being polite to one another. So as a volunteer, I want to believe that you will enjoy running this program, in your community, and you would see lives change and for the better, and that is such a rewarding feeling to have.
I would say come. I would say you will never regret it. It's fulfilling when you see that people rely on what you're going to teach them by God's grace. And you know that when you go there, you're going to impact on the lives. You're going to impact on a life which in future you never know where that life is going to be. So there is hope. And I would say, please come. In Ascend, we work like a family. We talk about what we need to do. We have regular meetings, and it's all part of volunteering. Nobody feels pressured. We all understand what we're supposed to do, and we don't need to be monitored to do it. Summers, we spend some of our summers as we have time, just going to schools and teaching people. And we find out we're not alone in this. You're never alone. But what you give into the community, into the society is lasting. It's a lasting impact. You never can tell where you will meet that child, and child is going to remember that, remember you were in our school during summer 1 year and you taught me, and that's how I learned how to read. I never could read before you came. So I'd say, please come. It's worth it.
I never thought that I could stand before, in front of the class and teach people, so to say, adults for that matter. I remember volunteering to teach in my children's school, but adults, yes, it was something that I thought I could never do. So I want to use this medium to encourage people that feel that they don't have an educational background, in the sense that they don't have the professionalism to teach. I'm not a teacher, but because of the fact that I was interested in seeing adults especially learn and better themselves, I found out that it was an experience that I didn't have, but I gained through this program.
Ascend Education Foundation has become a passion. I got involved because I wanted to give back to society, and I was very excited that there was a platform to do so, because the ladies and a few men who are involved are of like minds. But I didn't know how the journey was going to pan out. We started off small in 2020 when the visionary birthed the vision during the COVID period, and we were restricted. But as we worked almost daily to draw out a curriculum, meet with people, it became something that I knew that I couldn't separate myself from. I felt a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility, especially when we started going out to look for partners, or partners found us, and there was just an alignment of vision between young people, older people, and I was amazed that even in Lagos, there are so many people doing great things. Schools where people don't pay school fees, where children are changed because of the environment that they're brought in, and how society and exposure can change you if you're given the opportunity.
There is a huge gap in the education sector in Nigeria. I believe that since I've volunteered with Ascend, it has shown me all the gaps that we have, at least a lot of the gaps, and it has shown me that yes, these gaps can be filled. Sometimes it's not by the formal sector, even the informal sector, like Ascend volunteers step in, and we see that there is a huge gap in education sector. How do we fill those gaps? We can see that children are not going to school, sometimes not because they don't want to go to school, or not because the parents don't want them to go to school, but because there's a huge gap in the education sector, and there's a need that needs to be met.
I strongly believe that every child should be given an opportunity to excel at their best. Many of these children have intuition, they have vision, they are clever, but they just haven't been given the opportunity to express themselves. So that's why we at Ascend are here to give them that opportunity. We have started small, but we know that if we don't start, it's not going to be birthed into something larger. So we are here with our passion, with every resource that we have, to make sure that this works. We believe so much in it. I do, and I will do my best and give up whatever time it will cost me to make this a very large, and to partner with other people to make it a success, God helping us.
Ascend Education Foundation is propelled by a vision to combat rising illiteracy levels among disadvantaged populations across Nigeria and beyond. Through advocacy, the dedication of qualified teachers and volunteers, and the cultivation of sustainable partnerships, we aim to make a meaningful difference in the lives of those denied access to quality education. Our mission at Ascend Education Foundation is to sustainably and organically grow and share our resources, empowering individuals, groups, and communities with essential 21st century literacy skills. We are dedicated to this cause, ensuring that age, religion, or cultural background never hinder access to education and opportunity.
I normally tell them about this literacy of the team, but I told them people should come and let some of them will say our education is this in it's past tense, so we did not. I said no. Like for me, no. For me, I even spoke to one girl, that is yesterday or Monday. He said, education is late for her. I said no. Even though for me it's not late, if I still have time, I will still further more. Because since I joined this literacy, I love to go to school.
Yes, I tell them that I am come here to learn very much. Then said they can come and learn because it's important for life to come and learn. He said I can try and see this.
I will advise them to come and learn because it's very important to learn so that it can help you when meeting big people, talking to people from the other countries, going to work, and also in your studies can help you when looking for a job.
I will tell them that they should call it because it can help them in the future and can help them so that they will learn more.
I will advise them by telling them they teach in the lesson, teach well in the lesson.
You know, when the mole came out and the mole came running, you know, when we drove in first and I saw Darasimi, I was like, that is Darasimi. That is a changed human being. You know, and Darasimi and I have been talking. I showed him pictures of when Ascend did the spa day for them, cleaned them up, you know, but just as they came off the street, unclean,
And I showed him the picture, was like, And he faced me and he said, Mommy, I will not disappoint you. I'm not going back. And that just made a lot of difference because he's now, the reading is coming naturally to them. Yes, some of them are still they're struggling with speaking.
Yes.
But you can tell the huge difference. It's like worlds apart.
Give them a head start already.
So the literacy program has been just fantastic from the result I've seen.
Right.
You know, it made it worth it. At that time, it even looked like, were we even achieving anything? Some days we look at each other and think, what did we do here? You know, but I can see now that has translated into a lot. I see magnificent lives just opening up from this program. It's amazing.
So it looks like Ascend Education Foundation actually has taken these children to a higher level of life. Set them on a different trajectory of success.
That's correct. It is amazing. It is amazing. Thank you.
A big thank you to Ascend Education Foundation. May God reward them for the good job. Well done.
Where do we see ourselves? We want to start offering like online classes, and we're already recording. We're recording lessons because we want a situation where we don't have to be there physically to pass on the knowledge. So we will just gather people maybe in a village setting, maybe they gather in a town hall or somewhere in the evening, in the afternoon, a time convenient for most of them, and then they can be taught. And what we just need is to train somebody on ground who will be just like a coordinator or supervisor to maintain law and order in the classroom, and then we will be doing the teaching remotely. So that's where we see ourselves, and that's why we need to raise some funds to be able to do this recording. We also want to begin to give our children more Afrocentric education. What do I mean by that? We want education that will provoke innovation in people. So yes, nothing wrong with learning about snow and some of those things, but especially in the rural setting, we want situations where the children who are born in those areas, they know the place. I mean, I give an example. My driver, he grew up in the village and he was a farmer. And there are times I will be in the car and I'll be saying, oh, it's cloudy, it's going to rain. And he'll tell me, no, it's not going to rain. The cloud is here, the cloud is there. And he's not saying this from knowledge of geography, but from where he grew up as a farmer, he's learned, he's studied nature. So we want such people to stay back with knowledge and develop the resources of their land. So that's where we see ourselves in the future, going into some of these rural areas with education, flexible education, teaching them so that they can now work with their resources better and develop their area. Right now we're collaborating with different organizations. There's nothing we do just by ourselves. We do it in collaboration. I see more collaboration. I see more people calling us. I see maybe estates running programs for their domestics. So, gated estates, maybe a Saturday, everybody, because now you're seeing a lot of property and resident owners association being strong. I see collaboration with such people. And so we go in there, we talk to their staff, we help them, to improve on the quality of the services they deliver to the employers. I see us collaborating with government, sub-nationals all over the place, just again, improving the quality of education. I see us also collaborating with health in the area of health and safety. Why do I say that? One of the things that really gets me when I'm driving and I see children standing up in the car and their parents are the ones driving. You slam the brakes and that child is a missile through the windscreen. And I think no parent will do that deliberately. It's because they don't know. So beyond literacy classes, things like health and safety, taking care of your environment, a lot of those, I see us going in that direction, collaborating with other agencies and even multilateral agencies. That's where I see us going. So the sky is the limit for Ascend.